in celebration of the 75th anniversary of the John Wanamaker Grand Court Organ. The first after-hours concert in 50 years was held in 1986. It featured store organist Keith Chapman, playing upon this, the world's largest fully functional musical instrument, the Wanamaker organ, with 28,482 pipes that range in size from smaller than a pencil to towering monsters 37 feet in height. People from as far away as 14 states packed the Wanamaker store during a snowstorm that had completely shut down the Schuylkill Expressway just hours earlier. This is a record of that historic event. After a brief tour through the pipe chambers with present-day curator Kurt Mangel, we'll continue with this 75th anniversary concert of the John Wanamaker Grand Court Organ.
You have 121 sets of strings in this division. Our listening audience certainly understands that how violins are never tuned perfectly with each other, and there's always a little undulation in the orchestra. And the reason for so many sets is so that they can create that undulation that makes it very orchestral in character. And if you look this way, you'll see that we now have an entire wall of wood that goes away at a moment's notice to let all of the sound of this division out into the room like it has never been heard before. Right now we're coming into the Deacon chimes up on the 7th floor. They're open to the Grand Court, and on either side of the ethereal you can see how gigantic they are.
Here is Keith Chapman. The second half of our concert follows this short feature on the organ's recent history under its new owner, Macy's, as we recall the Diamond Anniversary Concert of the John Wanamaker Grand Court Organ.
The Wanamaker organ is one of the most revered instruments of all time. Beloved by generations of Philadelphians and music enthusiasts from across the country and around the world. Housed at Macy's Center City store, the Wanamaker organ has been designated a National Historic Landmark.
This is one of the great treasures that this country has.
If the Liberty Bell is the heart of Philadelphia, the Grand Court organ is its voice.
And now the second half of our concert begins. Again, here is Keith Chapman. just watched organist Keith Chapman performing in the 75th anniversary concert on the John Wanamaker Grand Court organ, the world's largest functioning musical instrument. I'm Michael Barone, host of American Public Media's Pipe Dreams. Coming up, a special segment on the background of this concert and the many personalities who made it possible. And watch for organist Keith Chapman appearing in a very different sort of performance.
The idea for an after-hours concert at Wanamaker's grew out of the relationship between my father, Shorty Yeaworth, and Keith Chapman to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the installation of the Wanamaker Grand Court organ in conjunction with the Wayne Concert Series. This concert garnered local as well as national attention and publicity.
Mayor of the City of Philadelphia, do hereby proclaim Friday, February the 7th, 1986, as John Wanamaker Grand Court Organ Day in Philadelphia.
Keith had always bugged my dad and me to put him into TV or film. So in 1980, we cast him in this TV spot.
Every one of us has been in a spot when we needed just a little bit more gas, and it's caused us grief, sweat, frustration, money, missed appointments, agony, wasting gas while trying to get some. But now there's a way to guard against gas shortage in your tank, EconoTank.
On my last trip to the mountains, I went 340 miles round trip without having to stop for a fill-up.
He was one of a kind, as my mother recalls.
He was a phenomenal combination. He knew about everything. He flew his own plane. He could take apart a car. He could write music. He could take an organ apart. He could put it back together. He could, and you just ask him, he'll do it. And of course, a sense of humor that was deadly.
For an extensive assortment of organ books, recordings, and products, as well as the history of this beautiful store, along with stop lists, photos, and organ history, are available online from Friends of the Wanamaker Organ. The address is wanamakerorgan.com.